aggressiveness coming from AP Bren. And immediately,
just like
the
that.
first blood comes in.
Oh my god. First blood for Kyle TZ, and perhaps he might get more.
Yeah, this is
No purple buff?
yeah, this is fantastic for AP
Okay.
Bren, right?
Yes.
Because you want that Fanny to scale out of control and be a menace to see you soon. And with Fanny having a good game, if not a perfect game at this point, this is going to put on even more pressure on See You Soon. Because you look at See You Soon, they want that early game. They want to be able to have some sort of advantage over Falcons AP Bren. But with the current situation they're in, where do you go? Like, you know, you're going to be behind for the first turtle fight, and that's going to be a lot more pressure, as well as, you know, the amount of gap the goal lead the AP Brand will pull ahead.
This Hilda, right? You
Yes.
allow the Fanny to go for this early invades, you put pressure onto Flick, and Kautizi, he's gonna have free reign of the jungle whenever he wants. The amount of pressure you can see that he's covering on the map, it feels suffocating even though we are under 2 minutes.
Yeah, this is not where you want to be as Boxy. As Guinevere, you really want to snowball and be able to provide the crowd control. And without that level 4, you're really not able to contribute to the team as much as you would like. On top of that, it's going to be super hard for the Aurora to wave clear as quickly and rotate as quickly as compared to the Zaz. You know, as Gani said earlier, the Zaz is a very independent kind of hero. He's able to kind of just hold his ground. He doesn't really need to rotate early in the game, and this gives Falcon AP Brand so much freedom.
Yeah, Ogwen just camping at the purple buff. He was spotted out, but that's an Aurora ult committed. Flick still not level 4 just yet. Falcons AP range slowly working on the turtle. Zaz has his minions to work with him. Kautizi just goes for the back. That's Boxy down for another time. And Falcons AP Bren, they can slowly dance this.
Yeah, and there's no way Felix is going to be able to do anything here. Maybe a hopeful lot to do, but I think that's too risky. You got Flap TZ in your face. Look at that.
Explosion? No, it doesn't connect. But it's fine, right? It's a winning matchup for Export against Terizla. You push the Terizla away, nothing much you can do. First turtle for FCAP.
Yeah, well, I'll just go back to what Gani said. He feels that this is early game set match. I gotta agree with this because the Hilda right now is a problem that Siusun don't have an answer to. Look at that! Look at Ogwen. He's just casually walking in, you know, into the jungle, harassing the jungle, and making sure that his team's jungler, he himself, Kautizi, has a good time. And immediately we could see a bottom clash.
See the pull Super Marco just looking to run away. I'm offended. When catching onto Ra, they freeze him in place, but Super Marco doesn't care.
Boy, this is rough. This is definitely rough to look at. And on top of it, Flaptizi now looking for a second engage at bot lane. Hopefully. Nah, he's just going to pick it up. And I think this is where Falcons AP can start to scale. You look at Phil, he's already putting pressure into the mid lane, and Ogwen already rotated to the top. So every lane has an advantage, and AP Brand just making the most out of it.
It must feel very nice to be able to get some extra gold without having to actually be involved. As much as Gani did say, wave clear, questionable for Zaz, but he's actually the premier 1v1 hero. What you gonna do to him, right? I don't feel like anyone from CU Soon at this point of time can stand up against the Zaz.
Yeah, I think the good thing about this... Oh, but catching the mid lane.
There's a full combo knock-up. He's fine, few out of there. Again, with the help of his ult, and cashes in on some more gold.
And this is where that goal lead for AP Bren really shines. Despite having a good catch on the Zaz, they just don't have the items and the damage just yet to burst him down. And this is going to be worse for them.
Penalty zone onto Ogwen. They drop the kitchen sink, freezes him in place. Ogwen finally falls. You have Flaptizi in the front with the peel. Last Sandy out. Kautizi joins in. The explosion, damage insufficient. Flaptizi chased down, flickers to safety, but Kautizi going to work in the back line. And that will be Felix and Flick both going down.
Oh, this is classic. This is classic coming off the Hilda pick. They managed to pick out Ogwen, and we thought that was good, but expended 4 huge ultimates just for the Hilda, and that left nothing for See You Soon the moment the Fanny comes into the picture. And this is where I think AP Brand is absolutely genius with this Hilda pick. We talked about Zaz not having that wave clear, but with this Hilda, it gives a little bit more release on the pressure that Phil has to contribute to the team. He's more focused on just pushing out the lanes, being able to farm those items up, while Hilda does that heavy lifting that's needed for team to rotate around and create that pressure.
Let's get the knockout with the spatial migration, run on top of him, freezing Ogwen in place. This should be a kill. Committed with the blazing duet. Kautizi goes on with the cut throw. Once run, doesn't get it, but the lethal ignition will. 4 kills for the Fanny.
Yeah, well, this is going to give a little bit of time for both Felix and Ling to pick up a bit of farm. You know, Flapteezy playing with his life there, but he will get up safe. A lot sustained throughout if you look at the way that Siusun play. If they can get to the late game, both Felix and Boxy will look out to set up for both Run and Flick. Now the question is, will AP Bren allow that? Because as things stand, as much as AP Bren have lead, they haven't been able to get any turrets at this point.
Sorry, Felix will need some help with the cut throw. Still cables is enough. Unstoppable Kaltisi, Boxy late to the party. Now we gotta talk about the jungler, right? You got a 5-0 Fanny on FCAP side. You got an 0-2 Ling. Where is Flick and how is he gonna recover? Because Run definitely would need a lot more time. Super Marco cuts him down.
A little bit unfortunate there, and there's really not much that Ra could do at this point. You know, Aurora, she's not one of the most mobile mages out there. She's quite limited to where the team fight happens, and this just gives AP Bren so much freedom. Look at that, top lane's pushing in, they're pushing down mid. You know, you have the Zaz right there in your face. Boxy going in.
He's gonna try. Even Oakwood just standing here to take the beating. This purple buff, you are not gonna get it for free. Super Marco almost kills off Flick. I mean, this Ling is just not having a game at all.
Yeah, it's tough, it's tough. You know, that's the thing about picking Assassin's jungler. You're hoping to scale into the late game. But when you're up against a team with AP Brand and all 3 lanes are being lost, your jungle is invaded by the healer. There's just so little thing you can do.
Super Marco is still healing up and gets away at the end. Enough time for Flapteezy to show up, find a double kill, and the rest of See You Soon will say see you soon indeed, but not in the way that they hope for. Super Marco refuses to relent, and Ogwen is cornering them like a herd of sheep. Super Marco back in. It's Ogwen with the 3rd and Field with the 4th Falcons. AP Brand running SYS down.
It's rough, you know, tier 2 at the bot lane, Turtle's taken, Lord coming up in a couple minutes. I gotta say, AP Brand, they've been very methodical. They haven't seen much losses. Yeah, a couple of deaths here and there, but both are on the Hilda, which you don't really need too much farm. And in some sort of sense for AP Brand. So this is where we start to see AP Brand scale out of control. And at this point, I think See You Soon, the best they can hope for is that Flick can find some sort of a resource farming on side lanes, try to get some stacks under his belt, and then hopefully they can come in the late game. They still have Claude as an insurance, but time is running out.
And not just time, but space on the map. Right?
That's right.
Bot lane, no more tier 2, and all tier 1s are gone. He just show up top, forced away by Field, and chased down by the rest of FCAP, which means this tier 2 also falls. I'm not really sure where else can Flick go, honestly.
Honestly, it's been a while since I've seen Flick with the blue buff, and it must be suffering to see an assassin without his blue buff, especially for heroes like Fanny and Ling.
It's going to be a tough one with Boxy going down.
Oh
Kaltisi almost finding a Run. This time Run will survive, but FCAP at this rate are going to break all outer tier turrets. Felix penalty zone responds with a three-man lockdown, but at the end of the day, they still could not defend the structure.
Yeah, like I said, it's so important for the early game for both of these two teams. Even with such a good penalty zone, there's just no follow-up because the rest of the team don't really have that mobility. You have an Aurora that has to stand too far back because you have to worry about the Fanny. On top of it, there isn't a way for the Claw to come back in because he hasn't even gotten his 2nd or 3rd items.
Exactly. So for the side of FCAP, now they have just broken the Holy Shield off that mid inhibitor as well. Just wait for the Lord to spawn, and once they get it, this would be an easy push. I mean, almost a 10k goalie, right? This is a death sentence.
Yeah, I just want to put it out there, right? You compare the number of times that Ling has the purple buff versus the amount of kills that they have. Which one do you think is higher at this point? I'm sorry. Okay, that was a little bit dirty. I gotta admit, that was a little bit dirty.
You know the answer.
Yeah, that's probably.
We can't say it out loud, but yes, FCAP, obviously.
Alright, so you know, Lord's taken now at this point. I think it's pretty straightforward. You're just gonna wait for Lord spawn, manage the waves out there, just make sure that See You Soon gets choked out of control. And this is tough because as a Ling, as a Claude, you want to be able to farm outside your base to get a resource, and with the waves starting to crash in, you're sharing that goal among the rest of the team. So this means that it's going to be harder for both of these players to get their items. And well, for AP Brand, they're having the time of their life. They just looking outside the windows, looking at See You Soon like, hey, come join me. Come in, the water is warm. The water is fine.
Is there any way for See You Soon to kind of make a recovery? I mean, it looks hopeless. I would say it's hopeless. If it were me, I would press surrender. But obviously, in this case, you got to play until the end. So is there a recovery angle?
Well, I think it's really AP's brand's game to lose at this point, because see you soon, all they have to hope for is possibly a catch on the Fanny, but you know, the way that Kaltizi is going in, I don't think we'll see one.
Whoa, he's going straight for Flick, and that's Tempest of Blade. Kaltizi tries to go for the timing, doesn't get it. And see you soon, we'll try to mount a 3-lane defense, but you can only defend so
The
much.
hook.
A pull! Panties don't counter engage from Sorian Felix into a blazing duet, but the damage is just not there. Flapteezy with the peel on this Xborg, last standing to the back as Frozen, that's Immortality out. Sorian Felix and Boxy both go down. Flick chased away from his own base. Kaltizi showing up into the fight. Falcons AP Bren thriving in the chaos, and see you soon just desperately trying to hold on, but Flapteezy will not give them a chance. It is a barbecue season for the Xborg F-Cap. Slowly withering down, see you soon. Rod next on the chopping block, forced back to his fountain, and Falcons AP Bren takes game 1.
Hey, it was all style points at the end. Flapteezy just going haywire with this